Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Deen, parenting for today in today's day and age of challenges and a new generation, millennials and centennials. I want to talk about spirituality in today's world, or the lack of spirituality. We live in a world that's very materialistic, driven by things, material things, a godless society, and how this is affecting our kids. So we live in a world where with a lot of fiction, so Marvel comics, superheroes, the stories are fiction based. So the world's full of fiction now. The books are based on fiction, the films are based on fiction, video games are based on fiction, and our kids are not living in reality anymore. A lot of what's online is fictitious or fake or glamorized, not real. You never see a YouTuber or someone on Instagram showing their real life when they're angry, when they're sad. It's always when they're beautiful and happy. So we live in a fake world which is lacking spirituality. The mind, body, and now the soul is missing. So we talk about the mind and body a lot online. The whole world talks about mind and body. We used to talk about mind, body, and soul. The soul bit is missing. So we need to get back to spirituality. The soul is actually the most important part of our being. The soul is the most important part of our being because that's the thing that we take to the akhirah, to the next world. Our actual soul, our accountability, and the next life. So the soul is the most important thing and we're ignoring it. Because what we're doing, we're in the world of science, which is telling us if you can't measure something, it doesn't exist. So if you can't measure, then according to those people, there is no God because you can't measure it. Well, you can measure it. There's billions and trillions of signs of the Creator, intelligent design, our own intuition, and many, many other things. But the point is that spirituality is essential. How are we going to build that spirituality? The first obvious one is to make sure that we pray 5 times a day and our kids pray 5 times a day. Really encouraging and pushing that point. At the moment, amongst youth of high school and above, only 5%, like 5%, pray 5 times a day themselves. I.e., nobody forces them to willingly, acceptingly, is that even a word? Okay, willingly 5% pray. That means 95% of our youth at the age where it's fardh and compulsory do not pray. So what does that tell you? And it doesn't matter how religious or practicing you are, that's what's happening. So what does it tell you about results? The time we're spending on their education and their tarbiyah, is it working? No, it's not working. If they're not praying at the age where they should, something's gone wrong in our parenting. The other ways to build spirituality is to go in nature, reflect on Allah's creation, watch documentaries about nature, because nature, there's something incredible about nature, that when you're in nature you feel close to Allah. This is Allah's beautiful creation, and you start to praise the designer, the intelligent designer, the creator of all those beautiful things, and it brings peace to us. There's even research on people in a prison cell who have a view outside the window of concrete or a road, and prisoners who have a view outside of their prison to trees and nature, and how it affects their mental health. And those that look out to nature felt a lot better about themselves than those that are looking out to a artificial or concrete world. So spirituality is something that we can build on through nature, through reflection, through prayer, through remembering and praising the Creator, but also about explaining why spirituality is needed. For example, things like understanding qadr, the fate, and understanding how Allah is always planning our lives and making things better. If something wrong happens in our life, it's always for a, very noisy out there, if something goes wrong in our lives, it's because of Allah's plan. We try our best, things still go wrong. Allah is inshallah either going to replace it with something better or teach us a lesson that will make us a better and stronger person, or we're going to get something much better later on in life, in this life or the next life. So going through those spiritual arguments and examples of how Allah is always there for us. He's close to us, He guides us, He is He loves us, and He nurtures us and looks after us, and He's our protector. And that is spirituality, actually knowing who Allah is and how He is close to us and how He loves us and how we need to love Allah. That is part of spirituality. So the unseen is about spirituality. So building that spirituality in our kids is absolutely essential for their mental, emotional well-being. So a lot of the mental health issues we have now are due to the lack of understanding and the lack of spirituality itself. And I see that a lot. I see a lot of kids that have a lot of issues and they have very little, if any, spirituality in their lives. So the soul spirituality is key to our success, our children's success, our youth's success. So let's bring it back to the old phrase of mind, body and soul. Another very important part of spirituality is our diversions, the things that are taking away our time. Now, if we look at video gaming or constantly on entertainment or social media, that is also killing our spirituality. So spirituality, diversions don't allow us to become spiritual or focused on getting close to our Creator, reflecting on life, being peaceful inside. You know, remembrance of Allah brings us peace. وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ. That Allah, He created the heavens, He raised them, and He imposed a balance in the world, in the universe. Now that balance is everything. So not to cut off completely from doing things in the dunya, doing things in life, playing games, doing other things, but to have a balance. When you lose that balance and you're addicted to sports, watching footballers and celebrities and gamers and playing games, then you lose your spirituality. And that's what's happening to our youth. So to get spiritual, we need to cut down on the diversions that are causing the lack of spirituality. The other thing is, when we lose the balance, so we're eating bad stuff, junk food, things that are impure, it does affect our spirituality. When we have impure thoughts, impure behaviors, it affects the spirituality that we're trying to gain a pure sense of being close to Allah, being spiritual, and that gets affected by any of these environmental factors, external factors that are affecting our closeness to Allah and our reminders. Now, reminders of Al-Akhirah, of the last day, the Day of Judgment, these are really strong factors and aids in helping us be close to Allah. And what I've noticed amongst youth, the Akhirah is one of the key things that helps and motivates them to do good, actually. And that's one of the things that we actually neglect. I'm not saying scare them all the time or anything like that, but I'm saying to have a balance of hope and fear. And sometimes we only give them hope or we only give them fear. And hope and fear is part of spirituality. So may Allah guide us to become more spiritual ourselves and our children, and in the homes. So the homes become a place of spirituality as well, and a place of salam and Islam, a place of peace in the house. Don't forget to subscribe and follow this series and share it with your friends and family. I hope we all benefit, and tell the world about how we can parent and help raise a great generation of young people. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.